salute the playoff streets are buzzing tonight. The New York Knicks went on the road like they did all year, road warriors, and picked up a clutch first game victory in this first round series against the Cleveland CAVS, right? It wasn't pretty, but like all year, it was gritty, backs against the wall, right? Huge win on the road, right, to earn home court advantage in this series. The bench stepped up, like we've been saying, the heart and the hustle of the New York Knicks, right, was too much to overcome for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've got so much to talk about. EJ will be jumping in a minute, but first and foremost, salute to all the diehards, the best fan base in the biz, right? Everyone who kept the faith, everyone out here, man, it was tight tonight. Donovan Mitchell did his best Jordan impression, but guess what? We got the soldiers this time round. We got the soldiers to win these type of games, right? 90s grittiness pulled this one out with offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound, standing up. The officiating I thought was actually okay tonight. We did get a couple of calls that were for us, a couple of calls that were against us, but that's just what happens, man. It's a 7-game series, and we officially here, we back here right now. Forget about 2 years ago. I don't want to hear nothing about 2 years ago, because this is 2 years forward now, and we're in a different position. Shout out to the whole chat. Yeah, that's a tap. Rebounding was the key, like many said. Brooklyn born, salute. Let's go, big dub. Kaiser. I was at work with one eye on the TV, yeah, like a true diehard. Up in here, stand up, man. Click, game one in the bag with the dub. Straight facts. Let's go, Will. Man, grittiness tonight, man. Catching my breath still. Yeah, I got every game. I got the game on every television in the ICU. Salute, right? I can't imagine what everyone would have been feeling late down the stretch, right? I think when Cleveland went up 1 point, right, the New York Knicks answered. And who answered like all year round? It's been Jalen, Brunson, big time baller. Obviously, we needed a full team effort. Not everyone was clutch tonight. We'll talk about that. But I like Julius Randle's contribution early in the game, obviously, and late with the rebounding. But there was some rust late, but we tried our best to get the ball in our best player's hands. And for the most part, he delivered. But it was really Josh Hart's heroics really all night. The basically the oldest tenured player without a playoff game. I'm so happy for Josh Hart, happy for Leon, the organization, because I mean that trade has just paid itself off already in spades, because we don't win this ball game without Josh Hart tonight above all else, I think. But everyone else gave their effort, and we'll talk about it. Let's get it. Sharp Hours, Bodega, Wi-Fi. Yep, salute to you. Salute to all the diehards. It was dicey, but yeah, Kaiser, we really needed that rebound late, and if you think about it, we'll talk about both sides tonight, but from my initial reaction was that the Cleveland side, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk from the CAVS community about them. I thought they didn't really step up as much. Spider was an absolute Spider-Man trying to save this thing like a Marvel hero, but the New York Knicks played villain tonight, and we won round one in this huge heavyweight clash. Game one in the books now, 4 points. Would I have liked us to execute better? Of course. We were up 8, like up 6. Then it went down to 3, and then we went down. Then we got the lead back. That Josh Hart 3, my God, the awareness. Normally, younger players like Quickley, Grimes wouldn't have been aware of the shot clock. But Josh Hart showed all this heart. He knew there was like 3 seconds left, and there was nothing else left to do but to hoist, pull up from top of the key and hit that huge 3 line drive like he does. Probably the biggest shot of Josh Hart's entire career right there. And this game could have won us the series. I know it's early to say, but huge play after huge play. Let's talk about it, chat. Um, yeah, let's talk about from the beginning, right? The Knicks settled in well, like Shah says. They pushed the pace, they rebound the ball, and they hit good free throws tonight. Great point, Shah. Shout out. Quentin Grimes, huge stones at the end. Hadn't shot a free throw all night long and was 2 of 2. Barrett, will talk about his inefficiency, 2 of 12, but he was 2 of 2 from the line. Brunson was 4 of 4 from the line. Randle was 2 of 4 from the line. Quickley was 3 of 4. Hartenstein 4 of 4. And Obi 2 of 2. So excellent night at the line, which is huge in the playoffs. You know, you need to take advantage of all of that, man. Yeah, and I don't think there was any doubt, Shah. You hit with that. Josh Hart's been the best trade deadline season, right? Hands down. Yeah. Sherwin up in here, salute. Yeah, Quickley did struggle tonight. Hopefully that's him getting his feet wet, but I think he's going to bounce back. Yeah. And like, yeah, from my initial reactions, I completely agree with Kaiser Soze. You hit Spider right now. He gave them everything he had tonight on their home court, first game of the series, but not many other people stepped up, man. I think Garland hit a couple of nice open threes like he was expected to, but really they didn't get enough from Mobley tonight. Jetty Osman did okay off the bench. You know, Karis LeVert was nice in the first half, but he didn't really get much else. And that spells an end to home court advantage for Cleveland, right? It's back on us. And can we dare to dream, fam, if we steal game 2, right? If the New York Knicks go up 2-0, the streets will be buzzing right now. Let's go. New York City ball 08. Huge win. Sean wants to shout out RJ's defense. Yeah, I think RJ played solid defensively early. I think as a team we were pretty solid all night. I think. Now, what made this game not a blowout was our turnovers. Man, we got to clean that up. Let's go through it. So there was 5 turnovers from Randle, really, but you forgive that because to give us what he did, 7 of 20, 3 of 10 from deep, inefficient, but to give us 10 rebounds, 2 offensive, the biggest of the night, 4 assists, 2 steals, and -8, 4 fouls, 19 points. I'll take that all day, every day. We still don't win this game tonight without Julius Randle back. So that just goes to show how important it was that he had that rest and was able to come back. But really, it was big baller Brunson up in here as EJ. Salute is in the house. How we feeling, fam?
My friend, good to see you after what was such a dramatic win. Reason I didn't text you, bro, is because I was sitting on my feet, hoping and praying and wishing that the Knicks was swishing and dishing. But this was such a major win for the New York Knicks and the New York Knicks organization. Listen, no matter what we predicted, no matter what, if you thought the Knicks were going to sweep, if you thought the Knicks were going to win in 5 and 6 and 7, if you're like myself and you didn't think that the Knicks could win this kind of series, let us please just celebrate what is a major accomplishment for this organization. Guys, we've won a playoff game, and we won a playoff game on the road, and we've won a playoff game on the road as the underdog. So this is a great night. Knicks fans, let's unite. Let's just celebrate, toast up. I'm drinking my seltzer, celebrating. Listen, this is a great night. CT, how are you doing, fam?
To be honest, man, I couldn't be better. I'm floating now.
Yeah,
floating.
Man.
Yeah. We'll talk about it so much to talk about, but just my initial thoughts is we didn't really play a polished game, and we still pulled this one out. So that's reaffirmation for my prediction in 6, and a lot of Knicks fans that were quietly confident. Some of them thought it's going to go 7 either way, but I'm just very proud of our ability to steal game 1. I was saying it yesterday, the day before. I said the best chance to steal a game is game 1.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's the first game of no adjustments. It's just your best versus their best, and it's punch be punch. And
Yeah.
we landed the knockout blow. I mean, Spider gave him all he had, right? Let's start with their end. What did you see from Spider?
I mean, Spider is a phenomenal player. Spider is, you could see that he plays with a certain confidence and a swagger that, it's irrepressible. You can't deny the talent that he has. The fact that like, especially like those quarters where he just seemed to be single-handedly the only piece of offense that Cleveland had consistently and confidently. Let's just call a buck a buck. Like, he was probably the most confident player on the floor, aside from someone named Jalen Brunson. So it was a lot to be said. Kudos to Spider Mitchell. I can understand why so many of us wanted him during the offseason, but he is a force to be reckoned with.
Yep. Yeah, Heck from Knicks, the Brew Crew, Knicks Morning Brew, salute, came here to ask one question: where is Bowman?
Listen, I can't say anything because I said Cavs in 7.
Yep.
I'm excited. You guys know
Yeah.
I'm a very rational and logical Knicks fan. We're celebrating tonight. We're celebrating tonight. But let's take it one game at a time. Let's not go too crazy. Let's go crazy, but this is a
Yeah.
great night. This is really a great night. So
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell any Knicks fan to not get carried away. Like, it's just time to get excited. I'm not saying we've won the series. Don't get me wrong.
oh,
For one
absolutely,
night, we can be excited as heck because
yeah,
we know this is going to be a series. Best believe that.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, I kept saying I think the Knicks could be more solid on the road than actually at MSG. You know, I mean,
yeah,
we're going to have I guess the main thing I feel most confident about is the Knicks home crowd at MSG. Playoff crowd is going to come out and show out.
yeah. It's going to be a different environment at MSG. We've talked about this several times during the course of this season. How especially around Christmas time, especially around the holidays, it seemed as if MSG had a different kind of vibe, and it didn't feel like a home court vibe. It felt like as if it was a very touristy vibe, a very passive vibe. But game 3, game 4, we need that throwback kind of 1990s, 1980s kind of feel to the crowd. In every single bowl, in every single section of the arena, Cleveland needs to feel intimidated. It was pretty apparent tonight that Cleveland and the Knicks to a certain extent as well too. They realized the magnitude of the playoffs. They realized that the playoffs are very different. You could see that there were moments where they were playing tentatively. You want Cleveland to play with that level of apprehension. You want them to play with that level of concern in a hostile environment. And let's just give it up to the Knicks to be able to win a game like this, a game where there were lots of swings and lots of ebbs and flows, and to play like this and win a game like this on the road. My hope, my desire is that they maintain this level of mental fortitude, and it grows when it gets to the home crowd. That that they have that level of maturity where they can maintain this level of maturity throughout the course of the rest of the series.
Yeah, growth, man. We got to grow game to game. And
Yeah.
I'll hit you with this, EJ, because you're a numbers guy. The
Hmm.
Cavs now, to win this series, need to win 4 out of 6
Yeah.
to win this series. How do you like that? I was
Yeah.
saying all along, I struggle to see them winning 4 against us in 7. Now they've got to win 4 in 6.
Well, here's the other thing too, and this is the funny thing about making predictions. And I will. I'm a numbers guy and I'm a history guy. The the genius and the legend Bill Daughtry said on these airwaves, he doesn't like to make predictions. And one of the reasons why is because, and I remember him saying this, you never know who gets injured. Tonight,
Yep.
can we just shade the Cleveland floor management team? Can we just shade, like, players seem to have been slipping left and right all game long.
Man.
And we're going to get on the refs a little bit later, but you never know who tweaks an ankle. And I forget who posted it. I forget who wrote it in the chat, but the Knicks have more depth. So the idea of the Cavs having to now win 4 games out of 6, every player's not as fresh as they were, 4 hours ago. So,
Mm.
that is a pretty daunting task for them.
Yeah. I'll hit on Randall and then I'll get your thoughts. But yeah, he was the big story coming in.
Hmm.
And chat, give us your thoughts on Randall's like night overall. But when I saw Julius come out in that first quarter, and he hit an early three, he got to the rack for a diving layup. Um, but he made some bad decisions late with the ball. But overall, I'll take this performance from Randall all night because
Absolutely.
without him, we probably don't win this game. And he helps neutralize Mobley and Allen
Yeah.
tonight. It was a night where just we needed his presence, his body. And I like when he was getting, he was keeping cool. He was arguing with the ref still, but he was treading that fine line of Anthony Mason,
Hmm.
Charles Oakley sometimes under control, but a bit crazy.
Frenetic energy. He has a frenetic energy, and what he does is he
Yeah.
plays. He's actually his style of play is really built for playoff basketball, for traditional playoff basketball. The one that I grew up watching.
Wow. Yeah.
What he
Great
does
point.
really well is that he demands and he commands respect when he's on the lower block, and then especially when he gets going in the first quarter, it provides an air of, I believe probably the best terms would be confidence and relief for, aside from Jalen Brunson, your other 3 players. It takes off an offensive load
Yeah.
from Mitch. We know that Mitch is really there for his offensive rebounding, his defensive presence. It provides an air of a
Yeah.
little bit of a reprieve from Quentin Grimes. And for RJ Barrett, like one of the things that we probably will get to at some point tonight rather, is that RJ struggled tonight. And, that struggle was overshadowed greatly by the yeoman's effort of one Julius Randle. So when Julius does well, like one of the things that he's able to do is he's able to mask a lot of the flaws of this team, of this roster, because of some of the things that he does really well. So, kudos to Julius. For as much as we chastise or question his performance last season, whether or not he wanted to be here long term, this is one of those moments where everything's almost everything is forgotten at this point because of the Herculean effort that he put in after having sustained such an injury that he did several weeks ago.
Yeah, man, great. You're spot on. Just inefficient, but the rebounding and the assists, the 2 steals. He was aggressive defensively early. It was
Yeah,
so noticeable,
yeah,
and the effort, because of course he hasn't played for a few weeks, so
yeah,
he was ready to go and rectifying that series against ATL. Um, but yeah, in terms of showing the chat, Randall did turn the ball over a bit, so um, execution, not necessarily bad decisions, but just execution, I think. But, chemistry wise, it's going to take a game or two, I think, for everyone to
yeah.
get back to where we were. But that's the beauty of tonight, stealing a game, really. And we could have thrown this one away. So I'm going to use the word steal because we we did steal tonight. But
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter. We want to win a first round series. Winning first game one, that means EJ game 7 would be at MSG technically.
Ah, yeah. I mean, the other thing is too is that I it's kind of hard to analyze this game, and I saw a couple of people, I think Will in the chat said this. It's kind of hard to analyze this game as well because, in as much as we want to analyze Cleveland's performance and the Knicks, our home Knicks performance, we also have to scrutinize the ref performance tonight. The ref performance was
Yeah.
really, really bad. It was
Mm.
really, oh, Bonson, I'm sorry. Um, it was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad tonight. I believe there was a play with about 3 minutes left, 4 minutes left in the game where I mean, how many kickball? It looked like they were playing kickball as opposed to basketball, and not a ref call in sight. Um, and I know that there's a difference between how refs call playoff basketball versus regular season basketball, but this was pretty atrocious in nature. But that being said, I do believe that everyone will be back in the swing of things by the second or third game. That includes Randall. That includes Jalen Brunson. I mean, Jalen Brunson, we have to remember, did not play consistently down the stretch.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
once he gets his legs underneath him, the Cavs better watch out.
Yeah.
They better watch out.
Yeah. That's Spider Mitchell hoping it's not a dream,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
uh, and he's not continuously getting torched by JB.
Yeah.
um, uh, Cleveland's bench, right? Quickly didn't have a great game, and I predicted him as being the biggest edge with
Yeah.
the Knicks. So what does that say for our chances moving forward? Uh, Cleveland's bench, I think that's where the clear divide between the two teams were for me. Starters versus the starters over 7 games can be very tight, but the bench coming in, like Josh Hart, basically,
Yeah.
like we talked about, a bench guy who finishes games out and is almost better than, or is better than Okoro. I don't think anyone can say Okoro is better than Josh Hart. So we got guys off our bench that produce more than a Cleveland starter.
Well, it also, bro, like we I think this is a point that we raised last time I was on. Um, you had made the tweet, you had written the tweet that there was a possibility that, 2/5 of the starting line, 2/5 of the starting lineup could be on the bench in closing time. And what did we find tonight is actually 3/5, I believe. Was it 3/5 of the
Hart,
yeah. So we had Hart on the floor. We had Hartenstein on the floor. Um, so and obviously Q Grimes wasn't. I mean, quickly wasn't on the floor tonight because of an off game. But that's the big difference between the two rosters, and that's why I had said Cleveland is in a very weird position where hypothetically, if they don't win this series, what does that say about the construction of their roster? Where they have the best player on the floor,
mm,
but
yeah,
what does that mean about the rest of their rotation positions 2 through 9? So yeah,
mm,
their bench really it did leave a lot to be desired from the Cleveland perspective.
yeah. And I think whoever wins this series is going to be a team who settles early,
Yeah,
because you could quickly be down 2-1, 3-1, 2-0. And we talked about both teams' inexperience, right? Allen had a little bit of experience, but Mobley, not much. RJ Barrett has playoff experience, but and Quickly does, but they didn't perform tonight. But I still feel confident they can contribute in this series. But maybe the Knicks have more ready-made gamers than Cleveland side. Minus Donovan Mitchell. You know, taking him out. Remember, I said I was okay with Mitchell hogging the offense because
yeah,
who else is going to beat us?
yeah,
Who else is going to generate enough offense when Mitchell misses or misses a few shots in a row, which he will at some point,
yeah,
or he kicks the ball out and then the next guy's cold because he hasn't touched it for 4 possessions.
yeah, yeah, and that's what exactly what played out tonight is that once Mitchell seemed to, I don't want to say run out of gas, but once he started missing some shots, the question was, well, who is going to be the next person to stand up or
Mm.
and stand out? Darius Garland. I mean, like that really seems to be the focal point of their offense. Is that you have it's either Spider Mitchell's going to be chucking up some shots, or it's going to be Darius Garland when he feels if it's his time. The big difference is with New York is that Jalen Brunson, will be the one closing out the game, but there are always these other moments where someone else might step up and hit a big shot. And that's
Yep.
the big difference between the two rosters. Cleveland seems to be really top heavy right now. And it's fascinating to watch a Cleveland game up close during the playoffs to see what exactly can they be during crunch time. And it's really shocking to see the extent to which they folded, especially when momentum was really on their side with 3 minutes left in the game. I
Mm.
mean, with 3 minutes left in the game, that was Cleveland's game to win. It seemed as if the Knicks were going to fall apart, especially after having lost a double-digit lead. But for Cleveland to not be able to seal the deal with about 2 minutes left, especially with so many atrocious calls. I mean, and a lot of them seem to go Cleveland's way. For them not to be able to finish it out,
Yep.
that's a telltale sign. That's a concerning sign.
Yeah, you said it. The chat's on fire, buzzing, right? Salute to everyone out here. The streets is buzzing. CT with EJ,
Yo
smashing
yo.
that like button. Now let's dive into some of the stats, right? I got some things to point out. So the Knicks won points in the paint, 44 to 40. We also won fast break points, 17 to 15. So we won both. That's key to us normally winning throughout the
Hmm.
regular season. Not only that, we won turnovers. We've had
Yeah.
13 turnovers, but they had 14. So talk about crumbling at home on the road to the New York Knicks pressure. I mean, we know how good their defense is, but our defense had another level to
Hmm.
get to. I feel like people thought our offense didn't have another level, but a Tom Thibodeau defense in a playoff setting has more to get to. What are your thoughts on that possible, ability to go up a notch?
I definitely think that the defense has somewhere else it can go.
Mm,
And what's up, Parrish? Um, you know, I think that they were a I think that this first game was really fascinating because you could really feel that both sides, Cleveland and New York, they were tentative. You could tell, um, you can tell that both of them realized the magnitude of what the playoffs were. Um,
mm,
but I think what will happen is that as both sides, as both teams become more comfortable, more in the groove of what they normally do, what we're going to see is that the Knicks should get better in certain elements of the ball that we didn't necessarily see transpire perfectly tonight. So, I do expect for example, Quentin Grimes to be able to roll on top of the pick as opposed to under, because he did that a couple of times and then allowed for Spider Mitchell to get some shots up. I don't expect Spider Mitchell to go for 45 for 40 every single game. That's impossible. It's statistically impossible. And so, as you like to say, he fired off the clip, he emptied the clip, they still came up and lost. So that's going to be really important because part of defense is not just, putting up a hand in the face, but just applying pressure and just enough pressure so that a shot is off an inch or centimeter or millimeter off. And that's the other thing too. The other gear too is that we had two key contributors not contribute in the way that they normally do.
mm.
And all we need is for one to play to their statistics this year, and game two will look even worse for Cleveland. If RJ and if IQ play even close to what they averaged this year, this is going to be a very difficult series for Cleveland to win, or could
Let's
be,
not forget
rather.
about, yeah. Let's not forget about Grimes. Grimes could have
Yeah,
played so much better as well.
absolutely.
So Knicks fans that are optimistic, yeah, there's even more reason to feel giddy and buzzing about our chances this series. A couple of super chats come through. Salute, salute. Parish Duggar. Great win, fellas. We're too deep. 100%. You're on point, man. Feel optimistic. This is our series now. It's back in control of the New York Knicks. MSG crowds is getting ready for game 3 and 4.
Absolutely.
You can feel it. Now we're playing with house money. We'll talk about it a little bit about game 2. Brunson with the super sticker salute. Yep, let's go. Feel buzzing right now.
Yeah.
Um, and buzzer beater. What adjustments would you make if you're Cleveland?
Ooh.
Now, first one, EJ, I'll throw mine is Jalen Brunson. They've got to do something about trapping him. I was so surprised, at least in those last few possessions, when he let everyone clear out,
Yeah.
that no one else came to Brunson. Jetty Osman was on an island.
That was the adjustment that was the adjustment that's not a that's not a player needing to make adjustments. That's a coach needing to make the adjustment. And that's what we talked about last time. The advantage Thibodeau rather, versus Bickerstaff. And
Yep.
how many times you need for Jalen Brunson to eat you up Like I'm talking about like chopped cheese eating. I'm talking about barbecue shack, barbecue chicken, just just eating you up. And I guess the idea was is that every time they wanted to get into the pick and roll offense, they were thinking that Chetty would drop off to a bigger man, and then you'd have a more classic one-on-one matchup with a smaller guy on Jalen. But sheesh, that did not work, and it was like 4 or 5 plays in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So I think, yeah, definitely that's an adjustment they have to make. But to the question of what other adjustments, buzzer beater, I don't. I think, well, okay, to be perfectly honest, there are some things that should happen next game that didn't happen this game. There are some shots that Cleveland did not make
Mm.
that a professional basketball player typically would make. There were a lot of open shots that they missed. There are a lot of layups that like kind of like fell off the basket, fell off the rim. Um, so maybe that's the adjustment. But otherwise, I don't know what else they could do aside from the adjustments on Brunson and making those open shots that were kind of embarrassing, especially in the first quarter into the second quarter.
Yeah, you said it. What can they do? I'll tell you why. There's not too much because Josh Hart went 8 of 11 tonight.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen every night. But
No.
guess what? If he doesn't go 8 of 11, maybe RJ Barrett or Grimes or Quickley have a more efficient game coming up. So yeah, the Knicks having too much to handle right now. Uh, Tom Thibodeau, are you happy with the plan? I think the Knicks offense and defense tonight, defensively on Spider, I like the coverage.
Mhm.
It seemed to work. He went off a bit, but no one else was able to do any damage.
Well, Thibodeau, who we constantly critique, he earned his paycheck for tonight
Mm.
just in the final 2 minutes. I love Queen's Place, man. um, he earned his paycheck in the final minute because every player on the floor, every single Nick who was on the floor for the final minute played a key role in the Knicks cementing that win.
Yeah.
Hartenstein tapping that ball out.
Oh,
Uh, Randall,
huge.
I mean, guys, like that was so massive. We can go player by player. Hartenstein tapping the ball out. Julius getting the key rebound. Uh, Grimes, you know, Grimes making sure that he hit those free throws. Because guys, that's one of the things we talked about before is are we going to hit the free throws when we have the opportunity to hit them? Um, Josh Hart, that huge, huge three that was a momentum changer. And we don't even need to go over all of the things that Jalen Brunson did tonight. But within the final minute of the game, the final 2 minutes, if you want to be generous, every player that Tom Thibodeau put on the court for those final 2 minutes played an instrumental role in securing that win. So I don't care I do. I'm being facetious when I say this. I don't care about the other 46 minutes. Those final 2 minutes and those 2 minutes of adjustments, you got to give him his props for that.
It's the playoffs, baby. Not everything's going to be great execution or pretty, but a clutch rebound, all of that thing. Also, I don't know if you saw a footage that save where Donovan went out of bounds. Actually, his feet were in bounds, but he bounced the ball when he pushed the ball, saved it. It bounced out of bounds clearly, but the refs
Hmm.
were looking at his feet so much that they didn't catch the bounce.
Yeah,
Um, you got to admire that heart from Spider, but like Clyde was saying, why would you risk that?
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the point I was. I'm sorry, bro. That's the point I was raising before about it's
Mm.
one slight knee twist, one slight ankle twist. If and we saw that Donovan Mitchell, like when he took that leap out of bounds, he came up a little bit hobbled.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't take that much. It does, and like in the NBA,
Mm.
guys, think about where we were 3 weeks ago. when Julius, that ankle rolled, all of our hearts rolled. I know that the emergency rooms in New York City, there was an uptick because a lot of us were concerned. I heard that in Australia there was a spike at that moment too. Um, so, and there seemed to be like, and again, I'm not an expert in this at all, but there seemed to be like a humidity issue in Cleveland on the floor because so many of those players were slipping and sliding all over the place. So that's a big deal. Like, and if Mitchell is a little bit more dinged up, a little bit banged up, it's going to make it harder for them to win this series.
Yeah, it's late in the season, remember, and not
Yeah,
everyone is 100%. Or no one really is
yeah,
100% right now. Dealing with a lot.
yeah,
And I kept looking at the numbers throughout the regular season. The Knicks won a game on the road comfortably, and we've shot 42% from three on the road throughout the regular season. Tonight, we look fairly comfortable early on. I mean, there wasn't really a moment in this game until the very last 3 minutes where I was worried about us like really getting out of control and losing it. And
yeah.
that's amazing composure for a road team in a hostile environment. The crowd was crazy. Mike and Clyde and Rebecca, I couldn't even hear Rebecca Harlow on the sideline talking. And for the Knicks to just stay in it, like Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, the senior veterans of this team were the catalyst to tonight. Were winning, and also want to give some love to Mitchell Robinson. But
Definitely.
this was his first playoff game. What did you see from Mitchell?
Uh, what he does, hustle, create second chance points. And especially because when we looked at the matchup prior to tonight's game, one of the concerns that we had was the imposing figures of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and what would that do in terms of creating and fostering an environment where Mitchell Robinson can do what he had been doing the entirety of the season, short of those stretches where he was injured.
Mm.
And so what tonight demonstrated was that not only was Mitchell up for the moment, and I think there's something else to be said. As if you guys hear in the background, New York City is celebrating the Knicks winning tonight. Um, what tonight also cemented is that you're gonna have to pick your poison when it comes to the Knicks closing lineup because it can either be Mitch on the floor, and that creates a whole set of issues for an opposing squad where you might have to like really, pack the paint to ensure that Mitch isn't gobbling up those offensive rebounds. But then at the same time, if you have a Hartenstein on the floor, he just seems to be in the right place at the right time for those tips, for those passes. And we didn't get to see a lot of it tonight, but those passes that typically that Hartenstein had been able to execute within the last 4 weeks of the season. So kudos to Mitch. This was a great, great performance by pretty much everyone.
Yeah, 8 rebounds to Mitch, but five of them offensive. 5 offensive rebounds. 5 offensive rebounds for Josh Hart as well. I mean, cleaning the glass. Mitch was actually the worst starter in the plus minus, but
Mm,
doing what he's doing is huge. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, shout out. And in terms of the biggest lead, we had the biggest lead, 12 points. Cleveland's biggest lead tonight was just 2 points.
yeah, yeah.
Like, that's crazy. If I had told any Knicks fan heading into game one that the biggest lead for the whole night for Cleveland would be 2 points,
I wouldn't have believed you.
people probably choke me out.
No, I definitely would not have believed you. And part of it also too is that um, to do that with a game that was so poorly officiated, is it the absolute worst game I've ever seen officiated? No. But for what the NBA tries to do typically in terms of having its best referees out on the
Mm.
court for the playoffs, this was clearly not the prototypical way games are officiated. And so for the Knicks to still be able to apply the amount of pressure that they did when they weren't just fighting against Cleveland, they were also fighting against the refs and some really bad calls. That's really impressive as well too. The idea that because when a game is officiated correctly, when a game is officiated more traditionally, there's more flow to the game. This game
Yep.
felt a little bit choppy because, there were times where you could see players kind of stop on a play because they were expecting a whistle and there was no whistle to be heard or no whistle to be found. And how many plays did you see guys just do this? Like, what do we have to do here? And so it's impressive of a win to see the Knicks win this kind of game, despite the fact that it was so poorly officiated, because, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to overcome that and say, okay, what is it exactly that I have to do to draw a
Yeah.
foul? What constitutes a foul at this point? Like, are the refs intimidated by the moment? But for the Knicks not to be, that says a lot.
It does, yeah. And I really think this should have been a bigger win for the Knicks. Remember,
Hmm.
13 turnovers, but Cleveland had 14, and fast break opportunities. We won fast break points, but guess what? We missed out on so many. The Mitch missed dunk that came back out.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett's couple in transition, a couple of missed scoop layup, and then Julius Randle's turnover. I mean, there's so many popping in my brain. I think we left at least 8 to 10 points. Um, with fast break opportunities. So do you see that as a thing that it looks good, we can clean up, and then we look even better for game 2?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's part of it. I think how often, I mean, that's one part of it, but the other element of it as well too is how often does Jalen Brunson have to sit an extended amount of time due to foul trouble?
Mm.
Like, I mean, he sat a bunch in that first half because of foul trouble. So, I think that cleaning up some of those plays is also the responsibility of our floor general being on the floor in a more representative fashion of what his rotation minutes tends to be. And yeah, like I do think that some of those plays were a function of nerves. I think it's a combination also of bad officiating. And I do think that by the second game, hopefully those things start to clear up. And especially, if things are, here's the other big thing. And I know that we're probably going to talk about this as well too. What's great about this series is that we don't play again until Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Yep,
That's big.
that's huge. A lot to think about.
A lot to think about. Like, normally in a basketball season, you might actually have a chance to play again tomorrow night or at the latest Monday. But the fact that, um, the game won't be played until Tuesday, if I'm right, I think I'm right about that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yep.
that gives Randall time to rest and recover. That gives time for Hart, because we all saw that he tweaked something
Yep.
to recover. And here's the best part. And chat, we should get really excited about this. It gives Cleveland time to sit and think about what just happened.
You said it. I like that. Think about it. Get in their own head.
Yeah,
Um,
start getting in your own head.
in terms about what buzzer, like I'm trying to think of what adjustment Cleveland can make with the. I think the biggest adjustment they can make is with our backcourt. But our front court, it's not like they have anyone else, another backup big to go big, even taller, to combat the rebounding advantage the Knicks have. Right?
Mm,
You're just not going to move Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle easily. They are they are a load down there. So what adjustments can maybe they can try to box out better? But I mean, the rate we're pulling in offensive rebounds, we had a guard and a center to pull in 5 each. Um, that was the advantage coming in. I didn't see any kind of adjustment. The Knicks just put further emphatically put their stamp on that advantage.
yeah, yeah. That's why Buzz's question was so good. Like, because I'm struggling to think what else they can do.
Oh,
Like, I really am. Like, I mean, um, I think that one of the advantages that they had prior to the series starting was the availability of Julius Randle. Like, if Julius Randle wasn't available, I know that there was
yep.
this whole debate as to whether or not the Knicks played better with or without Julius Randle and Obi Toppin playing in place of Julius Randle. But whatever advantage they thought they may have had with a Randle, because obviously the rebounding numbers drop when Obi is playing instead of Julius, that advantage kind of disappeared. So if that advantage no longer exists because Randall, we don't know how healthy the ankle is, but he was healthy enough to play quite a bit tonight. If that advantage disappears, you know, if Donovan Mitchell can go for 40, but it's not enough to overcome Jalen Brunson, what are we expecting? I don't know what the adjustment is.
Well, you know what it is. It's that 1-2 punch. The Knicks have Brunson and Randle. Yes, everyone, I'm willing to acknowledge, everyone said Spider is the best player in this series. But if Garland doesn't match, their other star doesn't match the level of our second star,
Yeah.
then what good is that, having just the best player, one player, when the Knicks have two, let's keep it real, all-stars, two
Yeah.
potential all-NBA players, and a boatload of depth on top of that. But you can't count out Cleveland. They've been the solid team all season. Let's see what they bring. Let's see what they come with. But I think if I'm the coaching staff, I'm sleeping well tonight because I know we could have played better. We can make a couple of adjustments. We can scheme, and I think I'll be sitting pretty, thinking, okay, let Spider continue to go off. If no one else is going to turn up, then we are.
So let me ask you this question, and this is a question for the chat as well too. What do we make then of Darius Garland? If Darius Garland is their number two, what are we supposed to make of him as a number two? Why didn't he feel tonight more like a dominant threat on the floor?
You know what? I'll give my first take on that, which is our perimeter defense. Perimeter defense. Like the Knicks have perimeter defenders now, even if they're not shooting efficiently. Quentin Grimes was giving it his all. I saw a lot of effort. Josh Hart getting extremely grimy was a +10. We didn't see any deuce, but we saw Quickley. Let's give this credit to Quickley. As bad as he was efficiently, 0-5, he was +8. So that's a player that struggled offensively, but was still a plus. So again, Garland, I think he's going to do better. But again, Spider dominating the ball. It takes the ball out of Garland's hand, and we know how challenging that is. That's one of the reasons I believe RJ is up and down, is quite hot and then cold, because Brunson and Randle have the ball so much. Barrett usually gets it late in the clock, or he gets it unexpectedly and he doesn't really know what to do with it. It's a transition when you're the main guy on ball and then you're not on the ball as much. So, I mean, this could be a look into what the Knicks would have been with Spider. Very dominant, very ball heavy, except Jalen Brunson is more unselfish, I think.
Well, that's why I asked the question. I'm interested in what the chat has to say about this as well too, because some of us who were raised in the 2K era, we typically start to think it's talent, and a lot of what we've been hearing in terms of the national coverage is obviously Spider is supposed to be the best player on the court, including Randle, above and beyond Randle and above and beyond Jalen Brunson. But at the same time, a lot of the conversation, I am still perplexed that a team with a Darius Garland, a team with a Jared Allen, who was an all-star not too long ago, and Evan Mobley, that fourth seed concerns me, because it means that, for what they could have been in terms of sheer talent, and me being someone who doesn't watch enough Cleveland games to be an expert in this, there seems to be something about the talent, but not necessarily the ability for it to quite necessarily gel, especially in crunch time or in clutch moments. And I could totally be wrong about this, but it felt like Spider Mitchell was apparently the top dog on that team. But in the fourth quarter, it almost felt as if he was the only bullet that they had to fire.
Yeah. And then Bickerstaff, a lot of people spoke on his inexperience, EJ. Now he's going to be tested a lot to try to get that squad he has up to the level it needs to be. Because there's a lot of pressure on game 2. Can you imagine if Cleveland go down a little bit, the calls aren't going their way,
Oh yeah,
the crowd's
yeah.
booing again. The Knicks are just going to feel good about that. Talk to us a little bit about how you're feeling heading into game 2 with the extra break and assuming everyone's healthy again.
I think that a lot of the butterflies, they kind of subside because you're playing with house money at this point. You did what you had to do. The fact that the Knicks were able to win this opening game, and especially do it in a manner, it wasn't a dominating performance, but to do it in a way where, for the most part, the lead wasn't in question until the final 5 minutes of the game, final 5 or 6 minutes of the game. So if you're the Knicks, in particular, if you're IQ, if you're RJ, if you're Grimes, that should help to alleviate some of the concern, some of the anxiety, some of the worry that may have manifested itself in your performance tonight. If you're the coaching staff, you pat yourself on the back and you say, "Listen, we may not only have an advantage on the floor, but we have an advantage in the coaching seat because that Shetty Osman matchup that they just kept on going back to the well to. You're feeling better about that, and also, you're able to do it in front of a Cleveland fan base that not too long ago was very used to the sight of LeBron James closing out games. And so the psyche of a Cleveland fan right now,
Oh man, we know what that feels like, being the better seed.
yep,
Remember, but deep down in our hearts, we're like, look, Atlanta have every chance to beat us
yep,
still. But I thought Cleveland's fans and media were quite respectful, but they had that quiet confidence about them.
mm-hmm,
But I just think after this game, they're going to really start to take the Knicks seriously
yeah,
because EJ, I know that they don't watch the Knicks really as much as we do. They just sort of saw the storylines, the clips. Oh, the Knicks are deep. Randle can go up and down. Brunson's okay. But now they've got a dose of Josh Hart, Isaiah Hartenstein, um, Mitchell Robinson, guys that they don't pay attention to as
yeah.
much. Um, and I'm about to say this. I think an adjustment for Cleveland throughout this series, I think we're going to see some Long Island zone, Danny Green dusted off
Wow.
because they are they're lacking something. They need
Yeah,
Danny Green, which is
yeah,
sad. But what do you think?
yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to. This might be. I don't. I'm not going to speak and have, like, I'm going to make a declarative statement here. This is a must-win game for Cleveland. You know, there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If the Knicks find a way to win this game 2, this could get really ugly. Um, and part of me, like, that's into the drama of this, would kind of like to see that, because if you're an organization who's put all their chips in, with the Donovan Mitchell trade, you don't have much you can do. But if you lose 2 games at home, that's I'm stating the obvious here, but that's really not that good.
Yeah, and I
So
think
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead, bro.
My game plan for game 2 is just like similar to tonight. Stay in the game.
Hmm.
Just even if you're down a little bit, they're gonna definitely punch back, right? They're gonna come out tough, hard. Maybe they might even get a few more whistles if I believe in your conspiracy that the NBA the NBA wants this thing to go 7.
Yeah,
Maybe we see some even more egregious ish against the Knicks. But that further to my point, Randall's just got to keep cool. Brunson, stay out of foul trouble. Stay in the game in game 2. As it gets to clutch time and we're within striking range, the doubt, the the folly is just going to creep in. Ramp up the defense a notch. Let Donovan Mitchell hit logo shots. and then we see what we can do. Because to your point, if we pull out game 2, I see this thing over in 5 or 6 because we're not going to lose both at MSG. Then we might
Yeah.
split it. We might split MSG and then it's a 3-1. Then we have a chance to close it out in Cleveland and then come back for a game 7 at MSG if we need. But are you feeling more confident in game 2, or do you think the fact that they'll bounce back is still a 50-50 proposition?
So, so
And
do I
just
feel confident? Yeah, go ahead.
before you say that, I would love to see what the odds are going to be for game 2.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see what Vegas says about the odds. Am I more confident? Yeah, I'm more confident because it, what what allows for me to be more confident is that the Knicks played this kind of game and they weren't firing on all cylinders. Not every aspect of the offense was entirely cohesive. We needed um, a somewhat spectacular performance from Josh Hart to close out the game when Emmanuel Quickley didn't quite perform the way that he has for the past 2.5 months. For RJ to play a less than RJ like game, and for Grimes to play a less than Grimes game, and so those three players not playing the way that they typically play gives me a lot of confidence that they can bounce back. And only one of them has to, again, replicate what they normally do during the course of the season if this is what Cleveland is going to present as its best performance. If Emmanuel quickly comes in and he has a 20, 25 point game and he's leading the second unit, what does that mean for Cleveland? Can we imagine Ricky Rubio going off? So I have a lot more confidence. I was very, very, I'm a long suffering Knicks fan. And you guys heard it in my prediction before the series that I thought this might go 7. But I do have a lot more confidence going into game 2 because it really, like, tonight was very impressive for a young, and that's the other thing too. This is a young team. So for a young team to have the ability to do what it did tonight, and just one more thing, and then I'll pass it back to you. When they lost the lead, when they were right before they were about to lose the lead, and you could see Jalen Brunson almost like wave off coach and say, "No, don't call a timeout. We're going to push through this." That's the big difference that gives me a lot more confidence than, let's say, the 2021 Knicks, the bubble Knicks, with Frank Ntilikina and Alfred Payton. I have a lot more. I'm still I'm still healing. So y'all work with me. So I have a lot more confidence now.
Yeah. One thing we can be much better at, and this is quite shocking looking at this box score now. The New York Knicks only had 18 assists
Wow.
on the night for the whole team.
Wow.
RJ Barrett had the most assists, 6 assists.
Wow. Wow.
Randle with 4, Brunson only with 2, Grimes only with 1, Mitch with none, Toppin with 1, Hartenstein none, Hart with 2, Quickley with 2. So we didn't have a lot of ball movement as we expected in the playoffs. It was isolation. But man, 18 assists, that's not going to get it done a lot. But
No.
kind of like tonight, it was the offensive rebounds that helped us still score 101, and they couldn't reach 100.
They couldn't reach 100. That was another point. Yeah. So when we talk about adjustments with Buzzer's question, they couldn't hit 100. In today's NBA, like I was actually thinking about this, where there's no hand checking, and like you're encouraged to shoot more 3s than 2s.
And the calls they were getting
Yeah.
court. Yep. Yeah, we were tough, man. Yeah, give us your thoughts of anything you want to say. I know you got to have an earlier one.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm excited for what we're about to do. Hey guys, before I head out of here, please press like, subscribe, share the content that we put on. This is quality Knicks content. And please, in the chat, just give it up to CT. He's the captain of the ship, all that he does to make sure that Knicks Buzz is constantly buzzing. So before I go, rather, or I go, he's still going to stay on. You know, uh, I am just so very proud and happy of being a Knicks fan right now because, guys, this might be the moment where we're shifting the description, we're shifting the narrative of the organization, and that player, I'm celebrating right now, but guys, I keep on getting excited for the off season because, and I'm not trying to rush it, but the reason why I'm excited is because players are probably looking. I know they're looking right now, and they're saying, "Man," they're tweeting, they're texting one another like, "Yo, did you see the Knicks? Did you see Rand? Did you see Jalen? Yo, Jalen's a monster." And in the back of their minds,
Oh, man. Don't get
you
me
know,
thinking.
no,
What do you
I'm
think what do
serious.
you think like a Dame Lillard's thinking watching this
But that's but
with his
that's what I'm
Josh Hart
saying.
dog?
Exact. That's what I'm think. That's why I'm saying like what I'm not just excited for the win. I'm excited because this represents culture change. This represents the fruits of culture change. This represents this is not the Phil Jackson Knicks anymore. This
Ooh,
is not, you know, the Steve Perry.
Steve
This is
Mills.
Steve Mills. You know, this is not Scott Layton. This
Isaiah
is,
Thomas.
oh my gosh. Um, but this is the beginning of where the culture is changing. And so that final piece might be sitting in a locker room right now, texting someone or having a conversation saying, I'm tired of New Orleans. Get me out of here. I'm kidding. I don't know if it's New Orleans. I don't
Nah,
know.
I love that,
But
man.
this is good. This is good. I'm really excited. Everyone, please enjoy this win. Celebrate responsibly. Hug your loved ones. And yeah, this is EJ.
Max, peace, EJ. Let's get it soon. Chat
Later.
to you soon, man. Peace. Buzzing after game one. The New York Knicks, that's right, went on the road and pinched game one, took their heart out already. What's Donovan Mitchell going to be thinking? We'll touch on some quotes. We'll give out grades. Continue to shout out the chat after this huge monumental win. I can't remember the last time the Knicks won a game one in a playoff series. It's got to be at least that 10-year mark, 2013. If the chat can find that out, give us the year. But this is a series that we all felt really comfortable. The Knicks had a great chance to win this series, and we've come out and made a statement first and foremost. I think I was as proud of our defense tonight as I was the offense because, again, we held Cleveland to under 100 on their home court with a Donovan Mitchell going off as well. So that's just got to have this team and the coaching staff feeling great, the fan base feeling great right now. And like I said to EJ, man, 18 assists for the team tonight with the New York Knicks. Normally that's not going to really get it done. It wasn't much ball movement, but we know the playoffs are like that. But we put the ball in our best offensive players' hands at most times. It was Brunson tonight, and then it was Randle. Quickley didn't shoot well, 0 of 5. Quentin Grimes, 1 of 4, but hit clutch free throws. Mitchell Robinson missed that dunk, but he was 3 of 5. Want to continue to give Mitch some flowers for his 5 offensive rebounds tonight. He was pivotal on the glass. Josh Hart, Josh Hart was player of the game for me. The big three, you cannot go past that as play of the game. We were a sinking ship at that point. The shot clock was going down. Momentum was in Cleveland's favor. The crowd was going nuts. And Josh Hart hit that three. He had stones to hit that one. 1 of 2 from deep, but 8 of 11 from the field with 5 offensive rebounds, 5 defensive rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, was 4 fouls plus 5, 17 points all over the place, man. I give up a late first round pick all day, every day to get that kind of production. in the playoffs now. He's inching himself into being one of the top 5 best Knicks because he's on the floor during money time and he's the one standing up. Just 28 years old, entering his prime is Joshua Hart standing up as well. He's going to get all the flowers and some over the next 5 days or 3 days until game 2. And they might even have to derive a game plan for getting Josh Hart off the glass, man. Who would have thought? We want to give shout out to Obi Toppin as well. Like the chat was on point tonight. In his 14 minutes, like he came into the game early when Julius was under minutes restriction. Well, kind of, but Julius sat early. It was 5 minutes into the first quarter. Obi was the second man on, and he was 3 of 4 and 1 of 2 from deep. He hit that huge 3 in the corner, hit both of his free throws. He pulled in 4 rebounds, 1 offensive, an assist, and it was a plus 12, 9 points, man. A true role player stepping in a playoff game, man. Salute to the young man, Obi, feeling comfortable in Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, man. Like Almighty says, yeah, he gave us good minutes, like you said. I mean, to shoot 50% from 3, just 2 attempts, but still, I mean, a part of his game is grown that much now where he is a legit stretch 4 in this league. You've got to respect that shot right now. Now, RJ Barrett's performance, we've got to have that conversation. Let's talk about RJ tonight. We'll talk about the good and the bad. I guess I'll start with the good. The good is it can't get any worse, really. I don't feel for RJ in this series. I think he's going to be better than he was tonight. He was 2 of 12, 1 of 5 from deep. At least he didn't jack up as many attempts, 1 of 5, but he did hit a big 3. Every shot was a big shot tonight, but he hit 2 of 2 from the line. So at least RJ hit all those free throws. He gave us, again, team high, 6 assists. So I can get behind that. 4 rebounds, but 4 steals as well. So I got to salute RJ. He was, better defensively, much better, especially in the first half, stepping in. But yeah, just the inefficiencies coming home to roost. And I'm going to say, overconfidence in transition. He gets sloppy with the ball. He was, not utilizing the 2-on-1 advantage. Spider's a crafty defensive guy, got the strip. I think RJ Barrett can just be a little bit too lax, on the break. But, he's young. This is only his 6th playoff game. I think RJ is going to be better as the series goes along. There's a clear area where I could see RJ taking advantage offensively. There was times when Garland switched on, Jetty Osman switched on, and he did try to take advantage. Dean Wade, he just missed a couple layups. The stat sheet would have looked better for RJ if he had capitalized on a few fast break opportunities. There was at least 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden the 2 of 12 becomes 5 of 12 from the field. So yeah, I think the best thing is RJ can't get any worse offensively, or won't get any worse, but defensively he stepped up. That's what we need. Queen's Place, shout out, salute. We here. Appreciate you for the $5 contribution, super sticker. Let's go. Continue to give us your thoughts, man. We shout everyone out. This is a huge win for the organization right now. We put ourselves in a fantastic situation to win a great series against the better seed, because, I think we are the better team. I really do. I think everyone was evaluating Cleveland for the full season and the Knicks for the full season, but the Knicks were the better team to close the season out. We acquired Josh Hart. Emmanuel Quickley went on a tear. Obi has grown. Quentin Grimes has been excellent. And Josh Hart tonight, he was the difference, really. Push comes to shove. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Josh Hart, and our rebounding, with Mitch tonight. So I'm feeling giddy, man. I'm feeling confident, man.
CT, what's going on? How about those Knicks playing good D, Tom Thibodeau basketball?
Yep. Knicks Nation out here, right? Feeling giddy for the next 3 days until we hit Cleveland again, and let's give it all we can give, and give them our biggest punch yet, right? Imagine if we just click on all cylinders offensively. The pressure on Cleveland is going to be immense. We know they didn't win at MSG this season, and Donovan Mitchell did not play well at MSG. A lot of pressure. He had a lot of friends, family in the arena, and it's going to be heightened even more if he's down 0-2. Think about that. And of course, I think the Knicks role players play a lot better at MSG as well. If you think about it, between Grimes, Barrett, Hart, Quickley, Hartenstein, they all play better at MSG as well. So look out, home cooking. Let's get ready. Yep, Stevie Wonder can see that the Knicks are a better team. Yep. I think the national media are blind to that. They don't watch the Knicks enough late in the season to see how much better we can be. Another level we could have gone to defensively, we saw it. We saw RJ Barrett's defense pick up. We saw Julius Randle give it all, man. Julius Randle was aggressive with the trap. My eyes almost couldn't believe it. That, we haven't seen that all season. I mean, even Mike Breen and Clyde were on it straight from the get. Salute Trini. Let's go. Yep. We don't even need a player. We just don't need RJ. Salute Trini. Yet the depth, way too strong, almighty. CAVS bench, trash tonight. Yep. A lot of their starters were trash too. I mean, really, Okoro came back with a gimp knee. They rely a lot on Okoro. I mean, he's solid defensively, but what does he give them offensively? Isaac Okoro was basically missing, offensively. And then their bench isn't really the strongest. I thought Karis LeVert had a solid first half off the bench, but then he went missing. We didn't see nothing from Karis LeVert either. Jetty Osman, he's going to hit the wide open threes that he gets. He swished a couple. Dean Wade didn't get many looks. That's why I said to EJ, man, I think we're gonna see Danny Green. They're gonna get more desperate, and they're gonna have to dust off Danny Green from Long Island, and get ready to go on MSG. Danny Green, veteran. I don't think he's got that much left, but they need some offense. They need some extra shooting off the bench. And if you look at it tonight, the Knicks outside of Josh Hart, Hartenstein and Obi, we didn't get enough from Quickley tonight. So imagine if Quickley poured in an extra 10 points. He was 0 of 5. Then we score 110 and we win in a blowout. I think Quentin Grimes can be more comfortable as the series goes along also. So let's not sleep on that. And Barrett's going to have, one or two great offensive performances, or where he's going to score 20 plus. That's going to happen also. So we'll be waiting for that. Again, Mitchell Robinson was fantastic running the break. I thought he was solid keeping Allen off the glass, but also he could have finished that big dunk in transition, and it would have been even more buzzing with that. And Randle, 7 of 20 and 3 of 10. He was not shy, jacking up a couple of deep threes just to test out the arsenal. And if he shoots more efficient as well, it's going to be just great for the New York Knicks' chances of winning this in 5 or 6. Now, give me your predictions, fam. After this win, do you feel more confident? Do you think we can win it in 5, 6, 7? Do you change your prediction, or do you keep it the same? I'm keeping it the same. I think the Knicks win in 6 still. I think I'm confident. We might lose game 2. Then we win both at MSG. Then we might lose one in Cleveland again, and then we close it out at MSG. I'll keep that, but I will not be surprised now if we just put the beat down and take their heart out. Now, Ryan's on point too. IQ needs to take a deep breath and get some shots down. I think he'll be fine. So, yep. I think IQ's the kind of guy that probably didn't sleep at all, man. He was juiced up for the matchup. and you could see he's just come out really buzzing, and he needs to settle down a little bit. But that's what game one's for. Kind of. It's funny we don't really see any overreactions to tonight because there was really nothing to really overreact about. A couple guys were down. Our usual suspects stepped up, but I think um, what the scouting report told us heading in was that our bench and our depth would be too good for Cleveland, and so far in game one that's true. It might change. Cleveland might have renaissance. Who knows? But it's not likely for me. It's not likely given the production the Knicks have off the bench. Um, Talking about Isaiah Hartenstein, like he's you know becoming sort of the face of the bench in a way, because his critical renaissance at the end of this season has been huge for the Knicks. Talk about adding like another Mitch. When Mitch goes to the bench and you're adding another guy that can do similar things, but with a little bit more offense. He was a team high plus 19 in just 22 minutes with 8 points. I thought he had a couple of excellent buckets, floaters that we really needed, timely. Was great at the line, 4 of 4, and gave us 2 offensive rebounds, 5 total, and was 2 of 3 from the field, like just defense, efficiency. Isaiah Hartenstein coming off our bench, that's one of the differences between the two teams in terms of dudes that can give us production. Cleveland lacking production. Yeah, Trini says we better on the road than at home. We might be slightly better. Yeah, I can agree with that. But all we got to do is play solid at home and let the crowd just carry us to the win, I think. Yeah, I would not be surprised if IQ goes nuts in the next game, like Killer says, goes crazy. Right, he's going to be a little bit down on himself, but at least we pulled up the win, right? Yeah, Mitch's defense was huge, showing 100%. Rebounding wise, 5 offensive boards, man. No stopping him. Yep. Yep. Paul says, yeah, we are talking about the Knicks. So I'm level-headed Knicks fan, CT. I've been burnt too many times. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. Just keep it calm, and let's see what happens game 2. But you got to be feeling more confident. Remember, playoffs are about matchups too, fam. We're not playing the Boston Celtics. We're not playing the Milwaukee Bucks. We're playing up against a team that we really matched up well against all season. And the beautiful thing is the Knicks added talent with Josh Hart. Cleveland never added anybody at the trade period, so they've been the same team. Talking about like a 100-meter dash. Basically, the latter stage, the New York Knicks have just surpassed the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, I feel. And I think if there was 15 more games in the season, we probably would have perhaps caught up to the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. We finished hot. But like you said, we've got to execute. We've got to execute better. Down the stretch, we were lucky at times. They did shoot pretty cold, Cleveland. Like I said, we only had 18 assists. So we're lucky. Obviously, Josh Hart showed up, hit that crazy timely bucket. Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein's final rebounds in that final possession. I thought Quentin Grimes was excellent late, keeping his cool. When he got the ball, he knew what to do straight away, which was to eat the clock, get fouled, and sink 2 free throws. 2 huge free throws, down 2, up 2 only. Part of me was thinking Quentin might split the free throws, and then we're only up 3, and they have an extra possession. But hitting that second free throw to go up 4, that was game. Yeah, solid from Obi again tonight. Also, I mean, everyone except Quickley showed up off the bench, which is you'll take that all day, every day. Next man up, pick your brother up if you're down, and everyone else handle their business. Degon salute. How we feeling? rotation was a bit off due to Brunson's early fouls, whereas Quickley usually comes in for RJ, but had to come in early for Brunson. He'll be okay in game 2. Yeah, 100%. Throughout the series, we're going to see ups and downs, you know. In fact, probably the most surprising thing early was Julius Randle, that he looked like he hadn't missed any time. How did you guys see Julius's start? You know, I think that was key to keeping us in control of this game, really. He was the dominant factor on offense early. Juju Randle was swishing the 3 ball early, got to the rack, finished. I thought he got fouled a few times also. But yeah, his presence on the court is just that magnet for the defense as well. So he opened things up. And also, you know, his rebounding, his 10 rebounds, you know, we missed that. You know, when Obi's covering for Randle, we don't usually get those rebounds. So um, he had 4 assists. I think Randle would have had 6 or 7 assists, if not for the ball going out of bounds. Yep, you guys agree. Killer says, yeah, indeed. Nikki B, salute. Julius's start was great for us, yeah. And I mean, a lot of us felt like Julius was going to play. We got the confirmation quite early, and then I didn't know what to expect. Like, what Julius are we going to see? You know, he hasn't played for how long now, but uh, you know, we saw the substitution early. I like that from Tom Thibodeau, and I'll give out my grades for Tom. But I thought I liked the rotations early. The foul trouble messed things up a bit, like Degon said. But to sit Randle early after 5 minutes, I think that was cool. You know, you gave Obi confidence. You showed a lot of faith in Obi. You brought him on early, rocked out with him, and Obi delivered. And then you also gave Randle some time to breathe, and get get some time and adjust. You know, we don't know how serious the pain is. Maybe Julius was playing with pain tonight also. No doubt rustiness, but you know, his presence was just key. You know, not efficient, but rebounding well, assisting, 2 steals, uh, was had a lot of energy, which was great. A lot of energy was trapping up on the pick and roll, which was excellent. I think that stunned them a bit. That was kind of an early blow. It was like, man, we're getting this locked in Julius on the defensive side. Okay, let's see what we can do, man. Yeah, let's celebrate Queen's Place. Salute. Yeah, this is for us all day, every day. Knicks Nation worldwide. The streets are buzzing right now. This could be our first playoff series win since 2013 right now. We got our closers. We got guys built for the playoffs. Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Mitch, and Hartenstein was critical tonight. Yeah, you guys tell me, what adjustments do you think Cleveland are going to try to make? Do you think they can make anything? You know, EJ and I, we try to rattle our brains, you know, and I think it's up to the Cleveland staff. I made one suggestion, which was Danny Green. I think they're going to have to try something at some point and throw an extra body out there. I think Danny Green could be a solid wing defender at times, but he's you know, he's past it, but he can shoot. They could try to keep some bodies off the glass a bit, but that's going to be difficult. You know, Mitch, Randle, they're a load right there. You know, and when you got Obi pulling in 4 rebounds in 14 minutes, so you know everyone was rebounding decent tonight. Old head salute. Let's go. Um, yeah, yeah. New York City ball 08, 100%. Yeah, I think Brunson's gonna feel like, man, I'm the difference in this series now. Forget about Spider. Randle handle Randle business, and I go off. That's too much for Cleveland. And we're going to see that 40 piece, I think, at one point from Randle or Brunson in this series. We'll probably see a 30 piece from Barrett or Grimes. You know, we probably see a 30 piece from Quickley at one point. So stand up, New York, and the depth. let's give Thibs some thoughts as well. Nikki B says Thibs did a good job of responding to the Brunson fouls, Randle's fatigue, and managed us to the lead in the first quarter. Yep, spot on, 100%. You said it. Yeah, shout out to Thibs for tonight. I'll also throw this out there. I think he called timeouts at a good time. Man, 1 minute into the fourth, that was frustrating. Don't tell me you weren't ready to throw the remote at the TV. At that point, there was some laziness, all of that, and I was worried a little bit. But Tom Thibodeau was frustrated. He called a timeout early, and I'm cool with that in the playoffs because you got the crowd. The crowd was about to erupt. We were a bit lax with the ball and the defensive lapses, and I think that was a good time to call a timeout. It was a bit crazy, but it ended up working. Remember, you're on the road. You don't want to let give too much hope. Yep. 19 man, New York City 84 salute. It's feeling beautiful right now. Sunday lunchtime, relaxing out, early game. How we feeling now? We can sit back, relax, and peek the Kings game. Let's see how that's going. We got Golden State 84 up, Sacktown 74, 81 to 74, with 4 minutes left in the third. So it looks like a nice game going down. That Golden State's experience still coming big. But talk about our experience. I think all our experienced guys stepped up for the most part. Brunson, Randle, and Hart, 26 and above. Above the shoulders. This game was won, I think, with their ability to be in the right place at the right time. I was licking my lips, barbecue chicken, when Jalen Brunson was isolating with Jetty Osman on him, man. He was clearing everyone out. Like, this is my show. And Jetty Osman tried. He had extra length, but there wasn't enough. Jalen Brunson's just so killer with the crossover. He's got dribble, tight handles from New York City. He can do it all, man. And he was no match. Spider was no match defensively for him. He would have carved him up like beef with that situation. So yeah, that could be one adjustment Cleveland look for to trap Brunson a little bit, maybe late. Maybe try not to do it early in the game. Just throw us a spanner at the work and trap Brunson late in the game. Old Head says Cavs look like that. All they have is Spider, as Garland was okay, and Levert was a no-show in the second half. Yep. Facts. Right. Look out for some Danny Green action. Yep. Paul says no complaints with Coach Combe over tonight. Yep. I don't think he used the challenge either. That was crazy. I think there was a couple of times he could have used the challenge, but he didn't really need that. But yeah, really what comes to mind with Thibs is the timeouts, just keeping things cool, and the rotations. Sherwin says, if I was Cleveland, I'm stopping Brunson. Yep. He's the engine, no doubt. They've got to hope Julius shoots inefficient, but their best chance is to stop Brunson, no doubt. And he's going to be ready for that. I think there's going to be a game where Brunson's like, okay, I'm just going to be a facilitator this game, right? I know what's going to happen. They're going to try to get the ball out of my hands, but be ready because I'm going to fire you the ball. Everyone else, Barrett, Randle, Mitch on the lob, just get ready for Jalen Brunson to be a facilitator if they try to take the ball out of his hands, man. 19 asks, who do you think will step up out of the young core in the next game? I'm going to say top of my list is Quentin Grimes. Bam. I'm going to think Quentin Grimes has been shooting really well lately. He didn't have an awful game. He was just quiet, 1 of 4, but was a plus 10, 5 points. I think his defense was very solid. I still think he's got that a little bit of jitters early man, he shot the ball so fast, did Q dot, and I'm like, sometimes just take your time as well. So I think Quentin Grimes, I think Quickley, and I think Barrett are the most likely to step up. Fam, who do you think? Yeah. If Green gonna be their savior, good luck to them.
Salute, 3 capital S's, you know what I'm saying? And also the capital S stands for the streets is buzzing.
Yeah, nice one, Sherwin, as well. Yeah, I think we also saw a gap between the front court of Cleveland and the New York Knicks front court in terms of the tandem. Hartenstein and Mitch, Allen and Mobley. I think Mobley was missing tonight. I had Coach Nick B-ball breakdown back and forth in our chats watching the game. He was saying Mobley's offense was infuriating right there. It was just ugly to see, and I can expect him to have a better game during this series. But Evan Mobley was struggling big time tonight. Was our two big men showed up? Isaiah, big time, plus 19. Mitchell Robinson showing up with the rebounds, efficiency. Rod, salute. Yeah, like that's coming. When Brunson gets trapped, that's when Grimes and Q need to start hurting them. Yeah, they need to be ready also. Also, let's not assume it's easy to trap Brunson either, man. There was a couple times he almost split the double team, which was crazy because that created the turnover, which put fast break opportunity. Cleveland went up, and that was where I was the most nervous of tonight. But I think Brunson's normally very good at splitting the double and making them pay as well. And salute to the clutch free throws, man. Ice in the veins for everyone, really. We shot really well from the line, which is something all Knicks Nation have been coming in hoping to see. The public enemies in the house, salute. How we feeling after this big win? Grimes was looking calm too, even with the refs calling quick fouls on him. Yep. I think, Grimes, he ain't a rookie either. He's 2 years in college, 2 years in the league now. I think he knows he belongs, and keeping close eye on his defense. Even if the shot ain't fallen, we know how valuable Quentin Grimes is to this team. He was trying a lot on Spider. I thought the closeout 3-point foul was a bit bogus. I thought Spider kicked his leg out. There ain't much you can do if you're Quentin Grimes. He closed out. I don't think there was any contact, but he got called for the whistle. We know Spider going to get that superstar call sometimes. But one thing I liked was Brunson was getting some calls. He was getting some all-star calls. Randle was getting some calls. So they swallowed the whistle early, but then they switched it up. It was getting way too physical. It was getting chippy. Yeah, D says the win was amazing. I can see Darius having a better game too, but CAVS still formidable. Yeah, I like what you said. We got to keep the respect and expect to see a better Cleveland, in game 2. Let's be real. Tonight could have just been a reverse where we played okay, they played slightly better, and we lost. But tonight was in our favor. Let's expect a better effort from Cleveland, from some of their role players. They're going to get a big rifle up the behind going into this 3-day break from the Cleveland crowd. I said to EJ, man, I can't wait to see the odds. I'm going to peep the odds because I really do feel like the New York Knicks were the better team, but the odds were disrespectful. The odds were too skew in Cleveland's favor. And I just think now people are going to start to wake up and realize that the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers are at minimum even. I don't think one seed is better than the other. I think at minimum they are even heading in, and I think the record says that. The standings say that it was only 3-game difference. Um, Yeah, Sherwin's up in here as well, win or lose. We got to talk about it. You know, we all have our opinions and takes, but we salute who shows up and who needs to step up. What do you guys think about RJ's game? You know, I went through my thoughts. I think we're going to see him improve offensively, but the pleasing thing tonight was RJ's defense. He was quite solid, but his decision making was irritable. You know, lackadaisical with the ball, not quick thinking enough. You know, was not utilizing the 2-on-1 situation. But I think he's got to remain aggressive still. You know, you hurt a player's confidence if they don't stay aggressive, but he's just got to open up his vision and not be so sloppy with the ball. That's one big skill he's got to work on in the summer, man. Is the handles. Yep. Yeah, on point 19 says Mitch would have had an easy 12 if not for those AKA mittens, AKA Palm Springs. Oh man. Yeah, we buzzing out here after a big game 1 win. Right. Be honest, right? Did you predict a win in game 1? I predicted we would win one of the first 2. So I'll take it. I'll take it. I said great game 1 would be the best to win because if you lose game 1, there's more pressure on game 2. But right now we won game 1. Now there's more pressure on Cleveland for game 2. We're playing with house money right now. So I'm happy to take that with a pat on the back. But really the team showed out for the most part. We won points in the paint, 44-40. We won fast break points, 17-15. We won the turnovers, although it was bad. We still won, 13-14. We had less turnovers. We had the biggest lead, 12 to Cleveland's lead. Biggest lead was only 2, which was crazy. That was probably the most crazy stat of the night. I said to EJ, right, you're giving up home court to supposedly the better team on the road on game 1, and the biggest lead they have all game is just 2 points. I think Cleveland should be slightly embarrassed by that. I mean, you know, you're the home team. You got to at least build a bigger lead than 2 points. You know, to start for the entire game. But that's also the credit to the Knicks that I give, because to start the game, the New York Knicks were calm under pressure. I think Julius Randle's start was amazing. Yeah. Rick from Jersey, salute. I believe our young core will play better as the series goes. And it's always been said that the bench plays better at home. Go Knicks. Yeah, 100%. Facts. The role players do normally step up at home as well, with the family, the crowd juiced up. And yeah, big task salute. I think the Cavs got to be slightly scared now after this because, quite frankly, man, we know how it feels, you know, to be the better seed and lose game 1. It sucks. It sucks. It's that sick feeling in your stomach to think that the other team might be better than you. And let's hope Cleveland start to have doubts now. Start to think about, you know, really the Knicks didn't really give us their best, and they won a close one, and we're under a heap of pressure now. Yep, like Old Head says, man, on point. Shout out. The Knicks were rusty earlier too. I think rotations messed up because Brunson was foul trouble. Julius coming back after 3 weeks, even more impressive. Jalen Brunson missing time late with the hand, all of that. In fact, that's another point to make about Quickley. The fact that he's been starting recently may have something to do with him being out, in a funk, being used to starting for the last 2 weeks. It's an adjustment, 100%. Spike Lee was big on the bench as well. I didn't see Spike tonight, man, but shout out. I see all these other fans, though, coming out the woodwork with Stephen A, Screaming A, I bet you he's going to be posting something right now, something giddy, something crazy. And a Michael Rappaport as well, an adopted Brooklyn fan. We don't need that. Yeah, imagine how sapped of energy Donovan's going to feel by game 3 if he's down 3-0 or 2-1, putting up 40 and losing as well. He's going to be like, man, could I swap jerseys with you? I want to be back home. Yeah. Ryan, I salute. I missed that. But apparently the camera cut to Spike giving out a peace sign to the crowd when Randle and Allen got chippy. I'll definitely watch this game again on replay. There'll be a lot of film studied and a lot of adjustments and footage to make. But I was a little surprised, like I said late, that Brunson wasn't trapped. I thought, especially down that stretch, 3 minutes left with Spider in his bag, with Brunson in his bag. I thought they would trap Brunson at least once or twice to try something different, but they went with Jetty Osman as a secret weapon, which they'd been practicing and thinking about. But that just goes to tell you that the New York Knicks have that edge now because they're reaching into the toolkit, they're reaching into the shed, trying to find other weapons, and it didn't work, man. It did not work. One-on-one, you cannot guard Jalen Brunson. Right? If you didn't know, now you know. Jalen Brunson is isolation king right now. He's got better footwork than some big men, some better footwork than, other crafty players. Yeah, we're sitting nice right now. Ladies and gentlemen, feel good about this. The streets are buzzing. Stephen A is not a true believer. He's just bandwagon all the way when they win. Yeah, you know what? And then when we lose one, then he's quick to cry about it as well, like you said. I think that's the craziness. Yep. Jalen Rose wants to take back his prediction now. These jokers, these clowns, going to try to flip the switch now. But, we're not there yet. So let's beat this home and pull it out. I really feel like this is our chance in game 2 to have our best game of the series. And that could be the series. Like, it's the timing is excellent for these road warriors to actually sweep the road 2-0. Boy, that would be something crazy, man. You'll see me doing backflips on the next stream if the Knicks can pull out the next one, right, and go 2 games up. Yeah, it's not over yet. Splitting the 2 is still going to be a bit dicey because then we have to at least split the 2 at MSG. So let's give it all we can in game 2. What are the keys for me in game 2, fam? Is ball movement. I think let's get more dudes in a flow. Just 18 team assists tonight. I think we can be better than that. But then again, Brunson was isolation, offensively scoring 27. So he only had 2 assists. Randle would have had a few more assists if the makes came. But Josh Hart, 2 assists tonight in 33 minutes. He usually gets 4 or 5 or 6 assists. And I think Quickley, only 2 assists tonight. He usually gets 5 or 6 assists as well. So I think there's a lot more room for improvement for this team. And that's scary for Cleveland, man. It's scary hours out here. Play of the game, again, to reiterate, was it's got to be a close tie between the big offensive rebounds late, the Jalen Brunson step back 3 in the corner over Allen. But I got to lean towards the Josh Hart 3 ball at the other end. That was huge. Josh Hart, that three, that's when I really felt like, okay, this is going to be our night, because normally that's where everything goes downhill. You know, the Cavs were making a big run, the crowd was getting crazy, the lead was evaporating, and that's when Donovan looked like was going to take over the game. But Josh Hart, with balls of steel, recognized 4 seconds left on the clock, and it's like, I better not pass this ball out. You know, I got an open shot, and he took it. So, not known for his offense, but damn known for his dogged defense and effort, hustle, and heart. But to have that kind of guy, a Swiss Army knife, that can shoot the three like that when you need it still, you know, that's all you need. Just not be a liability like Andre Roberson or other defenders like Frank Ntilikina, you know, a dude who gives you great defense but can still hit shots when you need it, man. It was clutch. Hopefully the ankle's all good. I know he's dealing with some stuff, but let's see, man. Let's see. Right now, we got the horses, but man, did he leave it all out there tonight, man. So proud of this team and this squad. And D-Gon's is 100% on point too. The clutch free throws from Q Dot, such a young player in the league, stepping up big in the moment. That would have given the Cavs another chance to come back and hit a three, right? That was definitely possible, but Grimes sealed the deal and closed it out after the offensive rebounds from Hart, Hart and Randle as well. And I like Grimes' composure to hold the ball too, fam. Hold on to it, and also recognize that the foul's coming, eat the clock. And we were pretty, man, with that. So, yeah, I don't know what else more there is to say. It's been an amazing night chopping this thing up. The New York Knicks did it. They went into the building in Cleveland and stole game one, right? Like we say, the series doesn't begin until someone wins on the road. And in game one, that's what happened. The New York Knicks officially have started the series now, have the edge, have the advantage. The streets buzzing right now in New York City, worldwide, from coast to coast. Right now, salute, lap it up, drink it up, and we'll be back, you know, over the break. Throughout the few days, we'll look at the news, get ready for a big game too. That could be the series, ladies and gentlemen. We could close this thing out early, right? Let's say if Julius Randle goes to another level, Jalen Brunson just stays the same. Barrett steps up. Grimes quickly step up. It's a load. It's a load for Cleveland to handle right now. And it's just amazing to see all the diehards to enjoy this. Salute to everyone that's supporting. We hear the season ain't done yet. We're ready for a long, deep run. This is playoff action, a la 1999, when we were the underdogs, hitting in us against the world. Right now, everyone knows these New York Knicks players are for real, and it's going to be a wrap soon. Let's get on the next one. Peace.